Hello, everyone. How's it going? Are you tired? No? Is everyone ready to party after this presentation? You know what they say about being last. It sucks. But yeah, hopefully I'm going to give you a really nice speech and a boat full of tips, okay? From likes to leads. Sounds like a cool title, right? But I want to tell you exactly what I'm going to tell you today. Today I'm going to talk about certain things that I'm really passionate about. See, I'm super passionate about psychology. I am in love. I'm not exaggerating. In love with psychology because psychology is amazing. It is the coolest thing ever to me. And then I'm going to lead you into sales. I'm going to tell you how to actually make money from LinkedIn. And I'm going to talk to you about the game of attention, Game of Thrones, game of attention, right? Speaking of, can I have your attention for a second? Can you just, it's been a long day for me, for you. Can we just do a little bit of exercise? Can you just raise your hand for me, please? Everyone needs to participate. Just raise your hand for me. Now, can you please raise it all the way up? My question to you is, why didn't you raise it all the way immediately when I asked? Nah, it's okay. You can put it down. See, psychology to me is amazing, right? It's predictable, and we can actually use that to our advantage. Because on LinkedIn, it's the same exact game. Nobody is using it 100%. Nobody. In fact, a small little percentage. I shouldn't lie. It's not nobody. It's a small little percentage, right? Why LinkedIn, by the way? Why this big platform? What's the popularity? What's the fuss about? It became a big deal when LinkedIn crossed 1 billion users. In fact, I brought some stats today for you guys. One of my good buddies from LinkedIn, he works at LinkedIn, Danny Markovitz, he shared this just a couple of weeks ago. LinkedIn, compared to other social media platforms, has the lowest number of active users. 1% of 1.2 billion users are active. That means there's opportunity for everyone here. It's that easy to go in. The barrier to entry, as Nemanja mentioned last night, is so low. It's ridiculously low. And yet, people are not using it the correct way. In fact, I want you to prove my point right now. How many of you log into LinkedIn every day? Just raise your hand. That's not even a fourth, not even a fifth of people here. You see? Oh, I should ask about how many of you log into Instagram or TikTok? There we go. Okay. So this is the official stat from LinkedIn. Only 1% of users are actually posting. But to those of you who actually raised your hands, I just want to say congratulations. You belong to the top 1% of creators in the world. Please give yourself a round of applause, an actual round of applause. This is a huge thing. Because like I told you, the barrier to entry is so low. How do I know this? Because I just came back from the USA. I was on a USA tour, and today in Split, I'm starting my Balkan tour. I'm going to be in Croatia 4 times this month. I'm going to be in Zagreb, and then Opatija, then Rovinj, then I'm going to Budva, then Greece. I'm going to be all over the place. But while I was in the United States, I received a very special exclusive invite from LinkedIn directly. In fact, it was so exclusive, I had to sign an NDA, which means I can't tell you what I talked about, but I can sneak it in, okay? I'll try to sneak it in so I don't get sued. So after I did that, I met with so many of my clients, so many of my community members. I organized a meetup in frickin' Times Square, New York. So I talked to hundreds of people, hundreds. And all of them were basically asking me the same questions. And when I was going to Split, I was like, I want to do this. I know exactly what's on people's minds about LinkedIn. I grouped these questions into 3 groups. How to sell without pitching, how to sell without selling, and how to sell without even trying. Meaning, you want your activity, your content, to do the work for you. We call this inbound. The clients are coming to you. You don't have to seek them out. It's the ideal scenario, right? You can just log in, do some stuff, and clients find you. That's the most ideal scenario, but it's possible. So today, I'm actually going to reveal some strategies that work really well for getting clients the inbound way. The title was From Likes to Leads. It was a cool title, but when I was coming to Split and I knew I had these questions on my mind, I was like, it needs to be cooler. To the point where you're my favorite person in the world, Lucia, wherever you are, she almost killed me yesterday because I didn't send her the slides. This presentation wasn't ready yesterday, okay? And I told her, I'm changing the title. I'm changing the slides. I want it to be perfect for my Split audience. So I came up with a few variations. The first one, From Likes to Leads. It was, okay. The next one, From Scrollers to High Rollers, baby. Slightly better, right? The next one, From How Much? To When Do We Start? To the next one, From Hell Nah to Heck Yes. You tell me which one you like best after we're done. I'm going to ask you to ask me some questions in the end. But first things first, have you noticed what just happened here? This is not a trick question. I've been playing a game with every one of you here. I've been playing a game since the moment I stepped foot on this stage. This is slide number 22 of this presentation. Slide number 22. And it still feels like we're at the very beginning of what I'm about to tell you. I haven't even started. Slide 22. You want to know why? Because I'm doing something purely psychological. This is lesson number 1. The most powerful thing you can do on social media. It is called a pattern interrupt. Meaning, you expect something to happen, and then something different happens. You expect something to be on these slides, and it isn't. Or you go to Google, and you search for something super innocent. Tony Trivkovic, your organizer, and Jasmin Alić, this guy, with underwear in the air. Now, I know there's a younger audience here. What's the pattern interrupt going to be? Can anyone guess? This picture right here. See, I didn't lie. We still have underwear in the air. But this is so powerful in psychology and sales. See, what if we turn this into a freaking LinkedIn post? I'm telling you, if you read this in your feed, you would stop and read, right? You would stop and read it. It would fly off the shelves. It would get so many likes and so many freaking comments and reposts. Why? Because it's giving you something that's not predictable. Why am I telling you this? Because in my humble opinion, I believe that 99% of all content on LinkedIn is super predictable. I don't even have to read it. I'm just scrolling. I'll read the first line or the first 2 or 3 lines. It's like I have no reason to click see more. It's boring. It's predictable. It's almost insufferable. And I know you guys probably feel the same way about LinkedIn. It's like everyone's showing off. Everyone's pretending to be the biggest expert. Everyone's trying to teach you something that you probably already have heard a billion times, right? I've had these conversations a billion times. I know how people feel about LinkedIn, but that's the wrong perception. But it's actually a pretty popular perception, to the point where on Reddit, one of the world's biggest platforms, they have a page, a subreddit called LinkedIn Lunatics, okay, with almost 1 million followers, where they just troll the hell out of everyone on LinkedIn. And I'm telling you, in the LinkedIn world, if you end up on LinkedIn Lunatics, this is like a Grammy. This is like you won an Oscar in the wrong way. Okay? You don't want to be here. You don't want to have LinkedIn Lunatics on your bio. Speaking of bios, that's a pattern interrupt, another one. Speaking of bios, I actually forgot. I didn't introduce myself, guys. So, hi, zdravo komšije, kako ste? My name is Jasmin. I'm actually from Bosnia. I'm from Zenica. And this is usually the slide I use when I'm introducing myself to my audience. And I typically never introduce myself in the very beginning. I introduce myself mid-presentation. I'm going to give you the reason why. You're going to see a lot of logos on this slide. It's because I've been in the business for a long time, almost 2 decades. I've been a copywriter. I've been a brand strategist. And right now on LinkedIn, I run 3 businesses through LinkedIn, 3 businesses. I run a coaching business. I've been lucky enough to be booked out for 4 years in a row with coaching. I run a paid community called LinkUp, which is the best, the biggest LinkedIn paid community in the world. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. And I also have a software called Linkbound, which I'm going to tell you more about in the next part of this presentation. But I want to summarize my story just so you guys know exactly why you should trust me. Who's this guy telling us about LinkedIn? Why should we listen to him? Because I had a very fun story coming to LinkedIn. I used to be a teacher. That was my old job. I used to teach in middle school and high school, and I have one of the first and only copywriting courses at the university. I'm a university professor. That's why I enjoyed yesterday's panel on copywriting versus AI so much. I really, really enjoyed it because I'm a professor of copywriting. Now, after that, I've been a rapper. No, I'm not kidding. I've been in the media almost every day for 5 years, X Factor, MTV every day, 6 albums behind me, and I rapped really, really fast. Like Eminem, that's easy. Easy. But then I came to LinkedIn, and the last 3 years, we've been ranked the #1 LinkedIn growth expert, LinkedIn creator, whatever you want to say, in the world, not locally. And we didn't only do it once, we did it 3 years in a row, and we didn't only do it with 1 ranking, we did it with 3 different rankings. And I'm really proud of that because I represent Bosnia and I represent all of Balkans in the world. And I worked with some of the biggest personal brands in the world. Some of these names, if you're on LinkedIn, you probably know them. I'm their coach, proudly. Now, I want to extend an invite to all of you to my next meetup. I told you I just had one in New York City. Next month, we have a meetup with my community in Sarajevo on October 17th. If you want to join the community, if you want to hang out with us and spend an entire week, let me know. I'm going to give you a nice gift at the end of this presentation, so stay till the end. Now, let's get back to the questions. How to sell without pitching, how to sell without selling, how to sell without even trying. Advice number 1 was pattern interrupt. I have 3 more bits of advice for you today, 3 more lessons. Lesson number 2, pitch slapping, then signposting, then pre-planting. Let's talk about pitch slapping. Have you ever heard of a pitch slap? The word P isn't actually the letter that's supposed to be here, just so you know, but it's actually the same feeling. The definition of pitch slapping means someone sends you a DM and they are immediately selling to you. And you've never heard them, never seen them. You never even thought of them. This is called pitching to strangers. My question to everyone who works in marketing and sales, genuine question. Why are you selling to strangers? There's a better way on LinkedIn. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because on LinkedIn, if you're just going door to door, it's weird. Because it feels like, oh, do you have a moment to talk about a possible savior? Possible? I said possible. Don't do this. This is the classic conversation, cold outreach versus what I call warm outreach. Even the cold outreach guys agree with me. I've had this conversation at least 100 times in the last year. Cold outreach works, by the way. It works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but warm outreach works miles better. Cold outreach means you're just reaching out to strangers, and you're hoping, A, that they will open, B, that they will listen, 3, that you might be some sort of magical miracle worker and you will actually sell something to them. On LinkedIn, you need a lot of tools for this. Automation. And LinkedIn hates automation. I'll show you that in the second slide. LinkedIn's official terms of services. A lot of people do not know this and they lose their profile. I've had tons of clients lose their actual LinkedIn profile because they didn't know about this. Heck, we have tools from the Balkans even that are doing millions in revenue that are completely against LinkedIn's rules. Completely against LinkedIn's rules. This is LinkedIn's terms of services. I'm not making this up. What does it say? You can't scrape, you can't modify, you can't automate activity of any kind. Of any kind. This is why cold outreach on LinkedIn no longer works. The second reason is people have gotten smarter. In fact, it has become such a big issue with these automation tools that LinkedIn has banned a lot of them. And in return, they're also banning the users who are using them. Don't do it. If you have any tools connected to your LinkedIn, this is brotherly advice. Okay, this is not Coach Jasmin talking to you now. This is Jasmin from Zenica Crkvice talking to you like a brat. Braćo i sestre. Disconnect every tool you have connected to your LinkedIn right now. I'm telling you, for your own good. Disconnect everything. If anything's connected, it means it's against LinkedIn. It shouldn't be connected. Nothing. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to some more positive things. I'm going to tell you about Linkbound. This is my software that I built for myself. I needed this. And I'm not here to promote the software, sell you the software. I'm just here to tell you how I use it to make my life easier and how our clients use it. See, I told you, do not talk to strangers. So who do you talk to? Talk to people you've already talked to. It's that easy. In the comments. How many times have you logged into LinkedIn? How many comments have you left? How many comments have you received on your own posts, right? These are your warmest leads because you've already spoken to them. So the tool basically filters every conversation you've ever had, and it compiles what we call a top network list, your most engaged audience. Then you can basically just get this in seconds versus be this guy and open a Google Sheet and manually track every comment with hundreds of people per day. Yes, that's what I've been doing for years. It worked until I built this. And then you can simply filter it out down to your industry, down to the size of the company's budgets, typical LinkedIn filters, right? And then you can get an even warmer, hotter leads list, right? It's that easy. And then you also get alerts. Like, for example, if you've spoken to someone recently 10 times, you're going to get an alert from the tool that's going to say, hey, your relationship is sleeping. Send them that initial DM, right? Which is kind of funny. It's kind of ironic because I said initial DM, meaning first DM, but this is not going to be your first DM. That's the beauty of Linkbound. You're never talking to people for the very first time. You're talking to them for the 5th, 10th, or maybe 20th time. Warm outreach, guys. I'm telling you, warm outreach is the way to go. That's lesson number 2 for today. Do not pitch slap strangers. Now, lesson number 3 for today about LinkedIn. And you can use this lesson everywhere. Landing pages, emails, YouTube scripts, podcasts, being on stage. It's called signposting. I want to give you a few examples and tell me how boring they are. 10 TED Talks you should watch as an entrepreneur. How many times have you seen this title? Right? Probably 100 times. Or morning productivity tips in your 30s, in your 20s, in your 40s. Who cares? We've seen this a billion times. The problem is a lot of people are still posting this on LinkedIn. Why would I want to read this? I can simply Google it. Like, genuine question. Why would anyone read this when you can simply Google it? Why you? Why you? But it's an easy fix. What did I tell you at the very beginning? Psychology, it's amazing. It's the coolest thing ever. In psychology, we have this thing called signposting. If you simply tell people how you know the information, they can't Google it anymore. They can't. If you said, as a CEO of 15 years, I've worked with many young entrepreneurs. Here's the 10 TED Talks I think every young entrepreneur should watch. Can you find this on Google? No. Why? Because it's your TED Talks. Only yours. It's that easy to fix this huge, humongous problem. Simply tell people how you know what you do. In psychology, we call this signposting. You're signposting your authority, and you can use it in every post, everything that you write, literally everywhere. Here's an example of a post that I did. I almost never sell in my LinkedIn post, but I always tell you why you should trust me. And then I say, in the last 1,111 days, I've trained 52,000, blah, 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 blah. You can read the rest of this post, but let's have an exercise. These 2 lines that I highlighted here, let's delete them. If we don't have those 2 lines that I highlighted, my question is, whose post is this? It's not mine anymore, because I'm not telling you this is my information, this is how I know it. It's not mine. You can simply Google it. But when I tell you, you trust me implicitly. I'm the expert. You're the expert. Whoever is reading your words, they're believing you on the spot. You don't need to convince them. Why? Because psychologically, you planted a seed in their mind. This is what signposting is. It's literally farming. You're planting seeds. It's beautiful. And you can use it anywhere in any post. I literally use it in everything I write. I'm not exaggerating. Everything. YouTube scripts, emails, landing pages, websites, anything. Signposting is amazing. Use it anywhere. In fact, keep reminding your audience, keep reminding yourself why they should trust you. Remember this slide? I signposted in the middle of my presentation. It shifted something in your minds when I started this part of my presentation, right? It's almost like you trusted me more compared to the beginning of the presentation. This is psychology at play here, right? This is psychology. You got to lean into it, to use it to your advantage. Let's continue. More examples of how you can do this. And it's actually pretty simple. All you need is 1 line. Just 1 line. It doesn't need to be a fancy paragraph. You don't need to overthink it. Here's a longer one. In my 15 years as a founder and CEO, I've worked with X many people. Done. Authority established. Shorter one. Most Fortune 500 clients I work with, blah, blah, blah. Who's my target client? Fortune 500 companies. If I said, most SaaS startups I consult, who's my target audience? SaaS startups. If I say, whenever I coach people, who am I? I'm a coach. If I say, whenever I train people, who am I? I'm a trainer. If I say, whenever I design for my clients, I'm a designer. Whenever I design websites, website designer. Whenever I design logos, logos designer. It's that easy. Signposting is necessary. If you're not doing it, you're doing yourself, your business, and your company and your clients a big disservice. I'm telling you, this is the number 1 lesson I teach every single client. That was a signpost. Because the information matters, but who says it? The source. It matters more, way more. Okay. In a fancier world, I would say stop asking for trust and for authority and start attracting it with your authority. Lesson number 4 for today, the last lesson of the night. I talked about planting just now, but I have a term I like to call pre-planting. You're doing something ahead of time. And it's about LinkedIn comments. The most underutilized, the most underused place on LinkedIn. LinkedIn comments. Why? Because everyone feels, for the lack of a better term, naked. They feel seen. It's almost like you're scared to share your opinion. That's what the comment section is, right? Oh, another CEO is going to see what I wrote. I want to come across it. No one cares. Trust me, no one cares. And I'm going to show you exactly why no one cares. Here's what most people don't realize. Commenting has power. Commenting is magic. To the point where I have my own rules for commenting. I wrote the book on commenting. I'm going to show you that. Number 1 rule of commenting that I have is never comment for the author of the post. Comment for everyone reading that post. Examples of this. Hey, great post, Luke. Thanks for sharing, Tony. I agree 100%. If all of you comment like this, nobody stands out. Nobody. Because you're just blending in with the crowd. It's just noise, noise, noise. No one really stands out. And you're not actually even contributing to the post, to the article, to the conversation. You're not. You're just wasting your time. You could be leaving thousands of these per day. Nothing. Nothing. So here's an alternative. What does it mean to comment for everyone reading the post? It means don't respond to the author. Add to the post. Add something. If someone wrote, here are 7 tips, blah, blah, blah. You can say, well, here's number 8. Here's number 8. See, your comment is a continuation of the post. Or if someone said, here are 7 tips, you can say, see, About number 3, whenever we at HypeFi do this, XYZ, all of a sudden you're listening to this guy. You're like, oh my God, he's adding something. See, you're staying, you're reading. So now you're contributing to the conversation. This is how you comment like a pro. You comment with strategy. There are different examples that I teach, that I coach, of how you can comment really, really strategically. Commenting is, I'm telling you, magic. It gives you more visibility than posting ever could. And I'm actually going to prove it, okay? Because comments are like magnets. Comments are like magnets. You're dropping them everywhere and people can just be pulled in. When you're posting, it's actually the opposite. You're posting something and you're hoping it expands. With commenting, you drop it anywhere and it goes in. It goes inward instead of outward. This is the beauty of commenting. And you can actually do this from your company page. I know someone is probably going to ask, sure, I only run a company page. You can do the same exact things from your business page, from your company page on LinkedIn. This is not just about personal profiles. It goes for everything, right? Comments are the #1 growth hack on LinkedIn. Remember this. Should you trust what I'm saying? Yes. Here's why. Because 3 years ago, I wrote the most comprehensive guide on commenting in the world, and LinkedIn picked it up. I did not know about this, by the way. I had no clue. I woke up to 10,000 notifications on my LinkedIn. LinkedIn took my PDF guide and they placed it on the homepage of LinkedIn for 1 billion people to see. And I was like, damn, this is crazy. That's when they invited me to a call, and that's when I was basically giving them feedback on how we can incorporate comments into the platform a little bit more. Because posting, it doesn't do the whole job. So today, I'm very proud to say that the reason why we have such a big focus on comments is because of that guide that we wrote and because of that conversation I had with them. Here's the big picture of comments that I want you to remember. They give you more visibility. If you're ever wondering, should I be posting, should I be commenting? Commenting 90% of the time, posting only 10% of the time. And I have proof for this. This is a comment I wrote very casually, 45 seconds. That's how long it took me. 45 seconds. It had 70,000 views in one day. Now, on the same exact day, I spent 30 minutes writing this amazing post. I spent 2 hours engaging with people in the comments. I had over 4,000 engagements. You see, I have pain in my voice when I'm saying this. 4,000 engagements. And I got freaking 45,000 views. It took me 45 seconds to write that comment. It brought me more business and more views than this freaking post. So you ask me, what's the message here? Should we stop posting? No. Posting is a great thing. Posting is necessary. You gotta give people something of value in the form of your own broadcast, right? Think of it like news on TV, right? It's your own show you're broadcasting to the world. You're speaking to your community. But think of it also like reporters on the ground. They're traveling everywhere and they're collaborating with everyone. That's what commenting is. Commenting is necessary, right? 90% of the time, spend your time in the comments. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. 10% of the time, spend writing and publishing posts. Because your audience, when you're posting, they're basically waiting to hear from you when you're posting. But when you're everywhere in the comments, you're doing it on your own. You're basically in charge of your own visibility. You shouldn't count on the algorithm to be generous. I get this complaint all the time. My reach is super low. So? Is the algorithm supposed to gift you something? Država mi nije ništa dala. Jel ti država treba nešto dati? No. You got to create your own opportunity. Same thing. I know, I'm a bit hardcore, but it's the truth. We got to rattle things up a little bit, right? That's the perception of reality. Now, all 4 tips are gone. I gave you 4 lessons today. If there's one thing I want you to remember today, it's, sorry, not this. It's that the majority of LinkedIn users, they do not use 100% of it. Please, be the ones that do. Thank you. Now, I did tell you I have some gifts, okay? First gift, anything I do, you get 20% off simply for being here, Okay? The code is Jasmin20. Whatever you want, if you want to join the community, Jasmin20. If you are a student, high school or college, DM me. You're going to get a very special deal. Okay? Not 20%, way lower. Deal? Should we give some memberships away? It costs $1,200 to join my community, so should we give something away? The first person who's on stage right now and gives me a hug gets a year of a membership. I'm not kidding. What's your name? Reno. You're going to wait for me after the stage, okay? And I'm going to give you a link, and you're going to join for free.
Okay, I just have to get my phone first.
It's okay. I'll wait for you. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Okay. And for everyone else, remember the invite I was telling you about earlier? I want to repeat that. Next month, the best, biggest paid community in the world has its Sarajevo meetup. You're invited to come to Bosnia if you want to hang out with some of the biggest LinkedIn stars. Last time we did this in Sarajevo, we had 11 countries. I announced this one 3 days ago. We already have 30 people signed up from 14 countries. If you want to join us, if you want to hang out with the best of the best, you're all invited. Thank you so much, Split. You've been amazing. Thank you. Bye-bye.